If I look worried, you are right. It's not often that I have an audience of so many professors and potential professors. Secondly, it's always dangerous in South Africa to speak after experts on international relations. They say everything you're supposed to say. But last night I was instructed that they don't want to hear any speeches, they want to ask questions. So I can only say that I should have had Chris as a PA before Polokwane and before they chucked me off the executive. I might have still been on the NEC executive. But let me just say that I'm going to accept their instructions and I'll answer all the questions. And I said to a close friend as we were walking in, this is not Parliament, so no sweetheart questions. Please be free. I know Chris has thrown me a curveball about Marikana, but anyway, I think a question and answer from the audience and prompted by Chris will probably be the best way to handle this next hour or so most fruitfully. And I hope there are too many questions that arises from the book. Let me just say, I do believe that on the 103rd anniversary of the ANC, the 21st anniversary of our democracy, the 20th anniversary of Mandela's release, I think all I was trying to do is reflect on the past to help us understand the challenges we face today and prepare for a better future tomorrow. And I hope in some ways I captured the spirit that we are not made activists or revolutionaries. It's the environment within which we grow up. It's the presence of a movement in the alliance with very good leadership and very good policies. And it's the engagement in struggle that turned us into activists. We must fight this notion of born frees. I don't know where this concept has arisen because there's nobody, including Madiba, who was born an activist. He was a product of the movement, and like many of us, we were all products of a movement. And indeed, I can only give, it's precisely because too many people, as Chris said, have written about our history, our struggle. Too few involved in the struggle have written themselves. And I believe, I hope that what the book will do is what the Chinese once said, let the 1,000 flowers bloom and let the 100 thoughts contend, schools of thought, contend with itself. And I hope that in today's climate, where there is too little open, frank discussion, where there's little debate on our successes but our challenges, that what we will do is use this sort of opportunities, not to minimize our successes, but look at the very challenges our movement and our country faces as we're going ahead into the new period. I am convinced that without that sort of frank discussion and the regeneration of our movement, both the ANC and the SACP, to take back the progressive political and ideological leadership of our struggle, we will be going into very dangerous waters as we go ahead. And I am convinced that there are a lot of good people in South Africa that are committed to consolidating what 1994 achieved, are willing to look at critically at where we need to go. And I am convinced that if we all contribute openly and critically, the next National General Council of the movement, which will take place in 2 months, should hear the voices, so that when we emerge from that conference, we would have really the voice of the people. Our Constitution, the Freedom Charter, which we celebrate the 60th anniversary, says, no government can be a government unless it represents the will of the people. So this is the time to influence the ANC thinking as we go to the National General Council, to influence thinking in the country as a whole. And the opposition parties have no excuse. We're a multi-party democracy, and they also cannot be sitting on the sidelines criticizing. They have to be objective of what contribution they can make, so that we as a South Africa, as the slogan for this year's SONA was, together we can succeed. That together as ex-politicians, present politicians and future politicians and academics, if we work together, we can make this a very successful country.
The University of Johannesburg. Rethink, reinvent.